This is Dennis Seatsma, Dennis John Seatsma Productions, Homestead, Florida, USA, August 11th, 2025. Do-it-yourself work is done at your own risk. Death or injury can result. We were looking at a 3.7 liter MerCruiser, often called an MCM 470 or other names. Has no spark, and most often it's caused, if you have points in condenser, by surface rust on the points. So to fix that, you need a point file, and if you can't find a point file, you can use a burnishing tool or for electronics, or emery cloth, I think, on the points to remove the surface rust. And what happens is you have crank and no start. And it sometimes tries to fire, so the spark is intermittent. If you have the pointless kit, the 1146A Pertronics kit, that has, a lot of people like that, but if your batteries are low, points and condenser works best. And I always recommend the electrical system on this engine, if you have a battery that's iffy, replace it. And let's see, what else do I need to tell you? If I could, if I had a tester, I prefer to go between the coil and the distributor, so that way if I have a bad rotor that's slipping in the distributor, I can see if I spark out of the coil as opposed to spark out of the distributor. But this tester I'm using fits well on the spark plug leads. So next I'm going to use a standard flat blade and take off the distributor cap and clean the points. With the distributor cap off, check the points to see if they're open and closed. These need to be closed in order to properly clean them. So you need to get a ratchet and a socket to turn over the engine and watch the points until they go to the closed position. And if you can't crank the engine for some reason, these engines have a history of coolant leaking into the cylinders, either due to a cracked head or a failed head gasket or other reasons. So don't force it with the starter. You can bend rods and do damage to the engine. So you want to take the plugs out and turn it over by hand if it won't crank. And a lot of times, if it's been sitting for a while, anytime you suspect there might be water or coolant in the cylinder, stop what you're doing, remove the plugs, and turn it over by hand. Make sure you don't do damage to the engine. Okay, on my engine, I used this ratchet with a 3/4 inch socket and turn the crankshaft until the point's closed. And with the points closed, I can now use the burnishing tool to clean the points and hopefully restore the spark. If you have any electronic cleaner, you can spray it after you clean it if you want to, but if you have that little oil thing on the points, you want to put a dab of oil on that sponge. Mine doesn't have that. It went away a long time ago and I haven't replaced it. Okay, to get the surface rust off the points, you just move the file back and forth on the points till you think they're clean, and then put it back together, see if you get spark. Alright, clean the contactor or points. Usually this works first time. May have to do it a second or third time if it doesn't restore the spark the first time you clean it. And this time of year we have a lot of problems with high humidity in southeast Florida and ants in the contactors, so it's a pretty common problem. Let's see if we get spark now. Yeah, I think I'm seeing spark pretty good. I think so. Give it a little gas. I have the choke set fully open on this, so that may be why. Give it a few more shots of gas with the accelerator pump. Yeah, I got spark, I see it. Put it back to idle. See if I'll run it idle. Time to pause the camera. Okay, I had to do it a second time, cleaning the points with the point file. This time I used contact cleaner. And let's see what happens now. I'm going to put it into fast forward. Always check your oil pressure. Just did an oil change on it. Rotate your steering, make sure that it's not frozen. It's been sitting a while. Steady the spark is. There it is. I got a gimbal bearing going out, I think. But I always try to put it in gear to circulate the oil around the drive. That's forward. Go back to idle. Idle's pretty good. You hear that gimbal bearing complaining. I think that's what it is. That's reverse. On 2000 RPM. Keeping points and condensers a hassle because you have to do this pretty often to clean up the points if it's been sitting for a while. Develops a light surface rust there on the points that's easily corrected. But I have to warn you, if you think you got hydro-lock, make sure you pull the plugs and turn it over by hand with a ratchet. That's a 3/4 socket. And make sure that you don't have anything worse going on. You don't see any coolant or water shooting out of the spark plug holes when you turn it over by hand. I see a lot of these videos where people just turn the key on the starter and don't think that they might have something wrong that could cause to bend the piston rod, like hydro-lock. And the seawater elbows on these 3.7 need to be replaced every 5 years according to the people that make these seawater elbows. 5 years service. And mine's a saltwater application, although this boat's not been in the water in years. But I try to run it once a month on muffs here in the yard. Go back to idle with it. And I think I need to replace the impeller. I don't have enough water coming out. So I think the impeller's shot. So I need to pull the drive anyway, replace the gimbal bearing, and have the drive serviced when I get around to it. So, audience, give me a thumbs up if any information is good in here. This is not intended to be instructional. It's for entertainment and information for fellow enthusiasts. Dennis Seatsma, thanks for watching.